The best of WWF American Wrestling, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, UK Rampage, and many more specialist releases. Available only through Silver Vision, the official distributor of the World Wrestling Federation's video. So if it's body slams, side suplexes, clotheslines, drop kicks, and power slams that you're after, increase your library of WWF videos with some of these spectacular annual WWF events. Silver Vision, bringing home to you the very best of the World Wrestling Federation's matches.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Kyosters World of Wrestling. It is for YouTube, CKTV, it is the channel CKTV. Another show for you all. I'm going to be recording 3 tonight, 3 shows. And the first show, I'm on a high with wrestling at the minute. Sometimes every 6-7 weeks, maybe 2 months, I'm on a high with something different. A while ago it was Batman stuff. Still do like that stuff, but when I'm on a high with something else, I kind of tend to it's strange, I know it's really strange, but I'm on a bit of a high with, when I'm really on a high with something, I really enjoy it and I really thrive on it and I think it's great. I don't know, maybe I've undiagnosed bipolar or something, I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, I'm not going to worry about it because it's all the positive stuff. But right now I'm going to talk wrestling. One of the shows tonight I'm going to start a series on, it was actually a few weeks before the Batman one, it was comedies of the 80s, and even though I love all that stuff, and I'll be adding to them sections of my CKTV on YouTube, I'll be doing videos and all that, them different interests, but as time goes on, because I'll be phasing out of this whole thing and into that again probably in the future, but it is video 1 of 3 tonight. The first one, I'll be talking classic gems from the past, and you know, with the WWE Network being the big thing these days, and by the way, it just launched in the UK and Ireland there the other day, and we're all very excited about that in the world of wrestling, because I was watching a lot of the reviews of the local, the people in the UK and Ireland, and they're really ecstatic about this. You know, I've had it for a while, but it's kind of like a new buzz now because of it being, you know, all my fellow wrestling fans getting to see it over here and stuff, and it's really, really something to behold, like, because I really enjoy the fact that, you know, other people are getting to enjoy what I enjoyed as well, so it's really great, that it feels great that other people are enjoying that now as well, over here. Also, as you would know, if we're talking about old wrestling events and old wrestling collections, some great collections out there, you know, online, loads of people show their collections and it's amazing stuff, but when you think about this stuff, you think now as well, I was mentioning a lot of the documentaries that were put out on DVD are on YouTube, are on the WWE Network now, and they're adding these documentaries all the time, you know, ones that WWE have made over the last 10 years. The box sets and that, you know, they put them up as documentaries on the network in the Beyond the Ring section, but really good stuff. It's great to have them digitally on the network, but the physical thing is good as well. A lot of people love the physical present to say they've got this DVD or whatever. For years I built up a great collection of wrestling stuff, and I've parted with some of it that's on the network, but I've kept a lot of the stuff that's not on the network, and you've got that, you know, because that's a rarity, and when they haven't put it up yet, it's kind of good to have there if you ever want to watch it. As we know, they put a lot of the stuff on the network. There's something like 50 documentaries on the network at the minute. in that section. There's so much stuff on there. Also, there's on Netflix. The WWE have a Netflix partnership, and they put a lot of their DVDs on Netflix now, and of their documentaries up on Netflix. And there's a lot of the documentaries that are on Netflix that are from WWE on Netflix now that are not on the WWE network, which is very interesting to note. But also interesting to note is that the WWE have taken most of their documentaries away from the USA Netflix, and they've put them onto the Canadian Netflix. And it's interestingly there as well, because we all know that Canada doesn't have the network the same way as the rest of the world do. They've been kind of cheated out of the network because of the Rogers television systems, and because of the Rogers television going into a partnership with McMahon and WWE. Canada has not gotten the WWE network. They've just got a best of WWE network cable channel up there, and that means that they actually are being given all these documentaries on YouTube. And there's something like I think there's about 15 or 20 very good documentaries on YouTube that are not on the WWE network, or on Facebook, all these websites, Netflix, I was talking about. So yeah, it's a very good, and of course, Hitman Hart Wrestling with Shadows, which is not a WWE produced documentary. That is actually on American Netflix still, as is the Falls Count Anywhere Wrestling one, and the film No Holds Barred, which is also a WWE production. But also many of the films that WWE have made, of course, they haven't been putting films onto the WWE network, so there's a lot of them on Netflix as well. So they're just a few wee pointers for anyone that's big fans and they want to check that out. So tonight I'm going to be adding an episode, the first episode actually, of the old Coliseum home videos that I have in my collection. I'm going to be talking about 10 of them in my first video tonight, and I'm going to be doing a series of Coliseum home video retrospectives, and talking about each video as I bring it up. I'll show it to you. This is my first visual video in a long time, folks. Actually, I'll tell you a story there, that the camera on my computer is the sound on the camera on my laptop is broke. On another laptop here I'm using the visual is fine on that one, and there's audio. I've got an audio recorder on another laptop, so I can bring the audio into the editing system and put the two together, so that'll work for a visual video. There's always a way, isn't there? There's always a way. Right, well, we're going to start off the first one will be on the old VHS, a Coliseum home video retrospective. That is the name of that series, and it's the first episode tonight. Look forward to bringing that to you in just a few minutes. Also, I'm going to be doing in the next video, I'm going to be doing the first episode of another series that I'm planning to start here on CKTV, and that is the box sets, the DVD box sets that have been released by the WWE over the last 10 years. We're going to review 5 tonight that are not on the WWE network. They're not on the WWE network in their entirety. There might be a wee documentary from each of them, or a spliced documentary, like edited up documentary, but I've got them in their entirety on DVD box sets, and I'm going to be talking about them in a series of shows as well. They are the classic DVD box set collection from the WWE, so they're pretty cool to have as well. So that'll be a good wee show as well for you. Also, I'm going to be talking about the WWE Network. It's the greatest thing going, and we're going to be talking about the in-ring section of the network. There is, of course, 4 or 5 categories in the network, and we're going to be talking about the in-ring. And the first episode of that series I put up during the week there, and I've had over 80 hits on that one, so over 80 views, and that's pretty good for a wrestling video about wrestling. So I was pretty chuffed with that. I even got a few people recommending that one to others, so that was good. So yeah, so that one, part 2, the in-ring section, and that will be interesting to delve into as well before the end of tonight's filming, video making. But we're going to go on with this show for now, and we're going to go into Coliseum home videos. WWE, or at WWF at the time, released a lot of Coliseum home videos throughout the 1980s and into the 1990s, and the name of it was Coliseum home video, and it was of course Silver Vision done the distributing for the WWF up until a couple of years ago. Of course, Fremantle Media took over then, but they weren't so lucky because with the network starting and everything, they're not getting as big of following with the Fremantle Media partnership. But so WWF Coliseum home videos were great. They were great idea. They brought out collections, and they didn't actually bring out volumes of the different shows like Primetime Wrestling and WWF Challenge or WWF Superstars of Wrestling. They didn't bring out shows with like these exact shows on DVD, like series, like they do these days with box sets, and like they do with the current stuff. And they're putting up, of course, all these things on the network now. Anyway, but they didn't do that back in the day. They actually made video VHS cassettes, which are usually only 1 or 2 hours. Back in the day, they were only, short things. They didn't have the technology they have with DVDs or what they have today with hard drives, digital. They're putting up stuff digitally, so they just give you a 1 hour to 1.5, maybe 2 hour video, and of a collection of, say, the greatest matches from something, and then they give it a name, and they give you a special host or something to make it more fun to watch. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of great videos in Coliseum home video. And in this section, in today's episode, we're going to review 10 of them, talk about 10 of them, some good ones. The first one we're going to talk about is one called Bashed in the USA. And this one, of course, as you can see here, Bashed in the USA. Of course, Mr. Perfect and Razor Ramon on the front of it there. It was out in 1993. It was released. It features a 40-man over-the-top rope battle royal, which is something that you've never really seen on TV. It was a special type thing. It also features Yokozuna versus The Undertaker. A lot of these matches are actually dark matches that you wouldn't have seen on TV. So it was cool to get these dark matches on the VHS cassettes as well. I still have a couple of video players, by the way. I haven't gone into gone into the technology age too much. I've also still got the VHS, the videos, the VCR players, which is always good to keep if you're an old school fan. It's good to have them as well. Even for old movies and stuff, good to have the videos. So we're not calling that the Dark Ages just yet. Also, you've got Bret the Hitman Hart versus Rick Martel. You've got Big Boss Man versus Razor Ramon in this one. You've got a tag team extravaganza with Tatanka and High Energy against the team of the Beverly Brothers and the Natural Disasters. Also on this DVD, a guide to Mr. Perfect's stamp collecting hobby, which is funny. And then there's a few others. Superstar profile of Shawn Michaels, and it shows a few of his matches where he fights Kamala, Skinner, and Virgil. So yeah, it's a good collector's item. That is, of course, Bashed in the USA. You can see it there, folks. I would definitely recommend that one for any of you Amazon people that buy your stuff on Amazon or iOffer or any of these sites that specialize in old school products. By the way, I got a lot of my stuff from the USA shipped over, which is pretty cool. And the likes of that VHS video now these days would only cost you maybe €1-2, maybe 50 pence or 50 cents in some cases. And it's a cool wee item to have. Also, there's a one here that's pretty cool, and that is Grudges, Gripes, and Grunts. WWF's Grudges, Gripes, and Grunts, which is a very it's a fun title for it anyway, isn't it? A lot of great matches on this one. It's actually and actually all the matches, it's done like a main event. It's done. All the matches are, the commentators are Jim Ross, the Macho Man, and Bobby Heenan for this. So Mr. Perfect versus Papa Shango in this one. Repo Man versus The Undertaker. Also, you have, this is also a 1993 video, by the way. Also, you have the likes of Macho Man Randy Savage and Bret Hart versus Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. You have the Beverly Brothers versus the Mega Maniacs with Hulk Hogan versus the Barber Beefcake. Their only other match, other than the one at WrestleMania 9 against Money Incorporated. Interesting wee bit of trivia for you there. Also, the Bushwhackers and Tiger Jackson versus the Beverly Brothers and Little Louis Fayetteville. Of course, that features two midget wrestlers, so that's interesting. Also, Money Incorporated versus the Natural Disasters and Shawn Michaels versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan, among the other matches in that great little gem right there from 1993. Grudges, Gripes, and Grunts. Okay, well we've got two down and 8 to go here in our look at the greatest, our look in the first episode of the VHS WWE or WWF, if you will, VHS Wrestling Video Collection Retrospective. And another one here is Hits from the Crypt. This one features Paul Bearer as presenter, and it's not a particular favourite of mine because I find his voice was annoying, but he was a character, and he was one of the most famous characters in wrestling. Grudges, Gripes, and Hits from the Crypt. Paul Bearer's Hits from the Crypt. Features Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels, Mabel versus Bam Bam Bigelow, also The Undertaker and Crush, Earthquake against Adam Bomb. This was a 1994 release, by the way. Jeff Jarrett versus Lex Luger. Also, Bret Hart versus Quang, who later became Savio Vega, and also made an appearance as the Caribbean Kid. Another bit of trivia for you there. The Head Shrinkers take on the Quebecers in this one. Also, we see Lex Luger and the Macho Man Randy Savage against Yokozuna and Crush, and we see Men on a Mission teaming up with Doink against the Quebecers and Double J Jeff Jarrett. So yeah, it's a very good collection of matches. And a particular favourite that I haven't seen previously there is a match between a special dark match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. So Hits from the Crypt, Paul Bearer's Hits from the Crypt from the WWF certainly was one to sink your teeth into, because it's definitely one that you should check out. Not one of my favourite of this collection of 8 DVDs, but definitely a gem that doesn't, it's a bit of a rarity. There's one here that would be probably on the bottom of the best of these, it would probably be at the bottom of the, not the best of DVDs or videos, but it's one that it was a classic show that they talk about in this one, and it was a show that was there, like, how they have their best, like back in the day it was Superstars was probably the top show, along with Monday Night Raw. Them two were the main shows, or Superstars and Primetime Wrestling. The next one was Wrestling Challenge, then it was the likes of All American Wrestling, and then they had the likes of the highlight shows, which one of the highlight shows was WWF Mania. And WWF Mania is this video. This is WWF Mania, the video, and it was released in 1994, and it features a lot of the big names. Todd Pettengill, of course, was the host of WWF Mania back in the day. A lot of memories there for the wrestling fans. A few matches in this one. Lex Luger against Rick the Model Martel. The Bushwhackers against the Quebecers. Also, you had Coco Beware and Jeff Jarrett. Also in this one is a dark match that hasn't been seen much in wrestling, and it's kind of been a forgotten gem. One that was supposed to take place at WrestleMania 10, but it didn't. It took place the next night on Raw. That kind of was This is one that actually was pretty cool. It was a 10-man tag. It was the Smoking Guns and Sparky Plug, along with the 123 Kid and Tatanka against the team of Jeff Jarrett and the model Rick Martel and the IRS and the Head Shrinkers. So there you go. I was able to name them all. So there you go. That was Mania the video, WWF Mania the video, which is another gem, but one that you mightn't watch too much. Other one we have for you here is Smack'em Whack'em, and this one is one that is very much sought after in wrestling collectors, a lot of the video collectors. This one was an impossible one to get back in the day, and I got a lot of these back in 2009 and 2010, and a lot of them were, you know, they really are collector's items that are rarities in the world of wrestling. But wrestling fans do what they do to get the stuff, and that's what, if you're a collector, you will get the stuff by hook or by crook. So Smack'em Whack'em is, of course, it features stuff like the Repo Man versus Earthquake. It also features Crush versus the Berserker. So many great colorful characters from back in the day. This is, of course, a 92 video. Also, The Undertaker versus Razor Ramon. And matches such as the big ladder match that was never televised. A ladder match that was never televised on television, but it actually was the first ever ladder match in WWF history, and that was Bret the Hitman Hart versus Shawn Michaels. A rivalry that is probably the #1 rivalry of all time in wrestling, and it is one of their early matches in '92 where they had a ladder match, the first ever ladder match in the WWF. So that's a great video for that alone, and I think it's definitely worth. What was it I paid for? 150? 150 euro. What a gem. There you go. Also, in this collector's video, we're going to look at, it's the Ultimate Warrior, and this is a collector's series special edition Ultimate Warrior video, and was one that was made back in, I think it was 1990 or 91, this particular video collection. Features the Warrior going up against Andre the Giant. It features him taking on Ravishing Rick Rude, and it also features the Warrior versus Haku. So it's the Warrior basically against the Heenan family members, and it's a very good VHS video, one to have in your collection. There it is, WWF's Collector Series Ultimate Warrior. Well, we've reviewed 6 of our videos now, and we're going to go in now to another one, and this one is a particular favorite of mine, and it is 1993, the year in review, which was a very good year for me for wrestling watching. I thought it was 1993 was a great year in wrestling. A lot of people looked at it as the down period in the WWF. Back in 92, 93, I watched a lot more WWF than WCW. I watched WCW on UTV, or on ITV, UTV, and which were here in Ireland. In the UK, it was on the ITV channel, and didn't really watch it. There was no Sky channel that showed WCW at that time, and then it started showing it when the Monday Night War started in '95. I think it was TNT, Turner Network Television, started showing Monday Nitro. But then I watched WCW. But since that, over the last few years, I've collected all the stuff, and now with the network, you've got all the WCW stuff, so I got up to date with all what happened in WCW and ECW and all the rest of the big companies. But 1993, the year in review, very, as I said, big year in WWF. Kind of it went into the new generation concept in the WWF in '93, and it was some great stuff on this. It features the big match from Raw with Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, where Jannetty wins the title, also wins the Intercontinental title, should say. Also shows the big rivalry between Yokozuna and Bret Hart. Basically, everything massive that happened in '93 is covered on this, and it's a nice wee, to have it all in one wee collection for 1993. That's what it basically is, and it's pretty cool. So, 1993, the year in review. This next one we're going to look at, folks, is one from the archives. Another one from the archives in the VHS wrestling collection. This is, of course, the a retrospective, if you like, the VHS Coliseum home video retrospective. And this one is US Rampage 91. And US Rampage 91 has some great matches on it. You know, this one was probably one of the biggest events of the 91. It was a special VHS event especially for video. A lot of the matches taken from Madison Square Garden and the Boston Garden, and rarely taken from shows, and they didn't take anything from pay-per-views either. So yeah, US Rampage features the main event was The Undertaker versus the Ultimate Warrior. Of course, you see nowadays, of course, on the network there, they have the clip of the Ultimate Warrior in the funeral parlor with the Undertaker putting him inside the casket and stuff, which was very good TV. It was very fun, and it was that whole storyline with the Warrior against the Undertaker and Jake the Snake, and that their Rampage in the WWF in 91, 92 was good. But that was the main event for this US Rampage 91. Also, the Rockers team up with the Boss Man to fight the Nasty Boys and the Mountie. Also, the British Bulldog takes on Mr. Perfect in this one. Also, in this one, Greg the Hammer Valentine meets Haku, and the Dragon Ricky Steamboat meets Smash. Jake the Snake Roberts takes on the Barbarian, and in a great match, the Texas Tornado meets the Warlord. So it's a very good lineup of matches on US Rampage 91. Another little gem for you to look at. Pretty cool stuff. Then we're going to go in now to our last two in this particular show. It is our last two videos we're going to review. I'm glad to be bringing this to you, folks. They're rarities in today's world. 2015 now, not a lot of people look at these old VHSs from back in the day. They were really appreciated back in the day, these ones. And nowadays they're just kind of looked upon as something you don't need anymore. But I think it's pretty cool to look back at these and look into the past of the annals of time, if you like, at these great gems. Coming up next, it is Invasion 1992. Invasion 92. It had a lot of good ones, a lot of good matches in this one. We've seen the main event for this one. One of the great matches. Hulk Hogan takes on Typhoon. This one was made in 92. As we say, Invasion 92. It also features matches such as Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Macho Man Randy Savage against Jake the Snake Roberts and the Undertaker. Again, all of these are dark matches. A lot of them are dark matches that weren't televised or put on pay-per-views or anything. Also, a fan-requested match between the Legion of Doom and the Beverly Brothers. It also features Macho Man Randy Savage being a guest referee in a Ted DiBiase Virgil match. And also, of course, the Big Boss Man meets Hercules as part of this, as well as Ric Flair. And that special match, remember that match between Ric Flair and Bret the Hitman Hart from back in 1992, where it was Hart winning the world title from Ric Flair. That match is on Invasion 92, so that's something that wasn't seen really up until that point. So that's interestingly to note. Also, there's a special profile on Ric Flair, and it shows him against Shawn Michaels in that match that was on Primetime Wrestling back in 92 as well. So, yeah, yes indeed, Invasion 92 is one of them gems as well that is just pretty cool. Also, we're going to finish this particular video, the first in the series of the VHS Coliseum Home Video Retrospective Collection, the series, This is the first episode, don't forget. And this one as well. This one is called Monday Night Raw Prime Cuts. And it's basically saying the best matches of Monday Night Raw from early '93, and some of the greatest matches. This was made at the end of '93, this particular video, and it features some great matches from Monday Night Raw. And it was Macho Man versus Repo Man, of course, Brutus Beefcake the Barber versus Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, the Nasty Boys versus the Head Shrinkers, the Steiners versus the Beverleys, and Crush versus Lex Luger. That is the collection for Monday Night Raw Prime Cuts. And a great video, a great one to have, and it plays out like a episode of Monday Night Raw as well, with McMahon and the Macho Man and Bobby Heenan on commentary for the whole video. So that's pretty cool. Yes, indeed, Monday Night Raw Prime Cuts closes our look and our retrospective of the VHS Coliseum home videos. And in this episode, you couldn't beat that, folks. Looking back at these great gems, we now have the WWE Network. We have a lot of the great stuff on the network, but these little gems in their little package of stuff, of matches and stuff, and the presentation, they'll never be put on the WWE Network, I wouldn't say, unless they put up a section which is dedicated to the Coliseum home video releases, which could very well happen. You never know. But I'll be coming back with another 10 Coliseum home videos on the next show of this series. So stay tuned to CKTV and YouTube, where I'll be doing another retrospective of the Coliseum home videos. I'll be back with them. For now, I'll be making another show very shortly here, but for this particular episode of this series, Yoster over and out.
The best of WWF American Wrestling. WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, UK Rampage, and many more specialist releases. Available only through Silver Vision, the official distributor of the World Wrestling Federation's video. So if it's body slams, side suplexes, clotheslines, drop kicks, and power slams that you're after, increase your library of WWF videos with some of these spectacular annual WWF events. Silver Vision, bringing home to you the very best of the World Wrestling Federation's matches.